I would like to ask you to turn off your cell phones or put them in worship mode because I had my tablet on and it's now off. Sorry, Chris. You're on your own. So glad to see you all here this morning. Before we begin our Sunday service, a couple of announcements. One is a big thank you to the musicians who are here this morning. We have Nancy L. Anderson at the piano, Kathy Cox and her daughter are vocalists, as well as Mark's a contract, and he's going to be playing the guitar a bit later for us. So let's give him a round of applause, please. We also had a couple of people who were not able to serve as greeters. So at the last moment, Mary Whittemore stepped up to help John Seeley. So thank you, Mary. We appreciate your flexibility. The other thing is, I have got to say to you, you are a wondrous, generous people. How do I know that? Because Jack Welch tells me so. No. He wanted me to announce this morning and celebrate the fact that 32 individuals and one covenant group answered the invitation to honor the Reverend Nancy Anderson with mementos honoring her 80th birthday and the service that she has given to this congregation and continues to in the deficit position we are, not having a settled minister. And we are extremely grateful to all who answered that invitation. To date, we have a total of $6,700. You are a very generous people. So, Kathy and Nancy are going to lead us through this morning's gathering song, number 109, As We Come Marching.
Workshops gray are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For the people hear us singing bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, marching, we battle to for men. For they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we come marching, marching, unnumbered women dead go crying through our singing their ancient song of bread. Small art and love and beauty, their drudging spirits new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we come marching, marching, we bring the greater days. The rising of the women means the rising of the race. No more the drudge and idler tend the toil whereon reposes, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread
Our opening words this morning are from Exodus, chapter 20, verses 9 through 11, the King James Version. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. The theme for September services for the UUCLC is belonging, and this morning we're focusing on those who labor. And you'll note through Charlie's homily and the hymns, we are really focusing even back to the times of Exodus on those who labor. Our chalice lighting words come from Kimberly Ann Tomzik Carlson, a place of belonging and caring. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so, you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship. Please rise in body or spirit and join in saying our church's affirmation of covenant, and then follow along as our musicians lead us in the singing of the doxology in English and Spanish. The words will appear on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to this end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another.
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue. De todos bajo el gran sol surja esperanza, fe, amor, verdad, belleza en la canción de cada tierra, cada voz.
Good morning, and welcome to the Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. My name is Katie Fitzgerald, and I am your service associate today. Charlie Sholz will be our service leader and will be speaking from home via Zoom this morning. We are treated to a trio of musicians, Kathy Cox, Nancy Anderson, and Mark Sakontrak. Behind the camera is Elwin Nunn, and supervising sound and Zoom is Chris Neal Wallace. Our greeters this morning are John Seeley and Mary Whittemore. Hospitality this morning will be provided by the Hospitality Committee. Your worship team are delighted to be with you and equally glad that you are with us. Unitarian Universalism, as you know, has no creed nor dogma. We are a covenant-based church, meaning that we agree to live with one another in relationship according to the Unitarian Universalist principles and our own congregation's covenant of right relations. We embrace diversity in all its forms. You can learn more about our church and check our event calendar on our website, uuchurchlc.org. We continue to offer hybrid services here in the sanctuary and online using Zoom service. If you are visiting today, we would like to meet you. Here in this sanctuary, please stand and wait a moment while we get a microphone to you. Introduce yourself, let us know where you are from and how you heard about our church. Do we have any visitors this morning? Okay.
Hello, my name is Marlene, and I'm here because of my friend Sarah Bishop. And I'm actually born and raised in California, but moved over here 3 years ago.
All right, great, welcome. Thank you.
Sure. Good morning, I'm Ken Glasscock.
And I'm Lisa Smith.
We've recently relocated here from Texas, and we're UUs from way back.
Yay, welcome to Massachusetts.
I'm Carol Daves,
And I'm Glenn Daves.
and we're here visiting my in-laws from Austin, Texas.
Great, welcome, thank you.
Hi, I'm Gay Hedges from Silver City, New Mexico. I'm the Children's Religious Education Director there and came to observe the Children's Religious Education program here.
We're very happy to have you, Gay. Susie.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm back. Yeah, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, Susie Lindemann, and I was off and on a member of this church from 1990 to about 2015. I also, when I taught in Deming for 11 years, we had a fellowship out over there for a while, and I'm now a member of the UU Fellowship of Lake Chapala for the last 7 years on Lake Chapala, south of Guadalajara, Mexico. My boyfriend, Steve Fleming, that I've been with since 1990, died a couple weeks ago, and so I'm up here in Radium Springs. He's got his 5 acres, and I have a garage on his property, and with COVID, we never really brought down all my stuff that I was going to bring down, so here to clean things up.
We're sorry for your loss, Susie, but we're happy to see you here with us again. Thank you all for joining us. Okay, it seems not, but if you're shy on the Zoom service, please put your name and contact information in the chat, and we'll be able to forward to you more information about activities, upcoming activities at the church, so that you can get to know us better. Directly following this service, there will be an opportunity to fellowship with one another. We call it conversation and coffee, and of course there's goodies as well. For those on Zoom, just stay linked to the site after the service ends. For those in the sanctuary, we hope that you will continue on down to the RE room. There's a portico and some chairs and some shade and people to welcome you. I think we've given all the announcements this morning, so the next thing to do is our time for all ages.
was as black as a mussel shell. He swam faster than his brothers and sisters. In one gulp, he swallowed all the little red fish. In today's Read Aloud, a little black fish in a school of redfish discovers a way of protecting them all from their natural enemies. Swimming, written and illustrated by Leo Leone. A happy school of little fish lived in a corner of the sea somewhere. They were all red. Only one of them was as black as a mussel shell. He swam faster than his brothers and sisters. His name was Swimmy. One bad day, a tuna fish, swift, fierce, and very hungry, came darting through the waves. In one gulp, he swallowed all the little red fish. Only Swimmy escaped. He swam away in the deep, wet world. He was scared, lonely, and very sad. But the sea was full of wonderful creatures. And as he swam from marvel to marvel, Swimmy was happy again. He saw a Medusa made of rainbow jelly, a lobster who walked about like a water-moving machine, strange fish pulled by an invisible thread, a forest of seaweeds growing from sugar candy rocks, an eel whose tail was almost too far away to remember, and sea anemones who looked like pink palm trees swaying in the wind. Then, hidden in the dark shade of rocks and weeds, he saw a school of little fish just like his own. "Let's go and swim and play and see things," he said happily. "We can't," said the little red fish. "The big fish will eat us all." "But you can't just lie there," said Swimmy. "We must think of something." Swimmy thought and thought and thought. Then suddenly he said, "I have it! We are going to swim all together like the biggest fish in the sea." He taught them to swim close together, each in his own place. And when they had learned to swim like one giant fish, he said, "I'll be the eye." And so they swam in the cool morning water and in the midday sun and chased the big fish away.
Be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your hearts know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace.
Peace. For those who are visiting, that's our RE program today. A lot of students couldn't be here because of the school holidays and holiday plans. And now, if you would turn to the back of your order of service, or if you have a hymnal, number 567, it's on the back of your service. You will see responsive reading number 567 to be of use. It will also appear on the slide. It is one of those I say, you say. The title is To Be of Use. I want to be with people who submerge in the task. Who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along. Who stand in the line and haul in their places. Who are not harbor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well done has shaped satisfies clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn, are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. Oh, did I miss something? I'm so sorry. It's time to do the opening hymn. I apologize, Kathy. Number 357, Bright Morning Stars. There we go.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Day is a breaking in my soul. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? Day is a breaking in my soul. They are in the fields a plowing. They are in the fields a plowing. They are in the fields a plowing. Day is a breaking in my soul.
Thank you, Kathy. Keeping me on track. I apologize. One of the ways we support one another in community is through the sharing of joys, sorrows, and milestones. Engaging one another through the highs and lows of our existence is a hallmark of a beloved community. If you have a joy, sorrow, milestone to share, please stand or raise your hand and wait until I get the microphone to you. On Zoom, please note in the chat so that you can be recognized. Please remember, this is not a time for announcements. Just a brief joy. Rita Decker is home from the care facility where she was staying, rehab facility. And as long as she minds her P's and Q's and uses the walker appropriately and not fall again, she should be okay. Yeah. Anyone else have a joy, sorrow, milestone? Oh, Jeannie.
Hi, I'm Jean Gilbert, and I just want to say that I'm back from Nebraska. It was the memorial for my husband, where we were married 46 years ago at Pahawk Place between Omaha and Lincoln. And we scattered his ashes there, and also my mother-in-law's. She passed away in 2019, and shortly thereafter, of course, in December and that spring, we were going to have the service, and then COVID came. So we scattered both my mother-in-law's and my husband's ashes there. And there were a couple of Omaha Indians who did a cedar cleansing and honored the land, and that was so nice. And I went with my sister. Many of you met my sister. So I want to thank this church for your amazing support this whole time. Thank you so much.
We're glad you're back with us, Jean. I think I saw a hand over here.
Hello. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, it says it's on.
Okay. Hello? We are members of this church, and next year we are going to get married here at the church. And the date is October 26th, so all of you are welcome.
Thank you. We'll put it on our calendars. We're so glad you shared your news with us. Appreciate that. Anyone else with a joy, sorrow, milestone? Pamela.
Tomorrow, Doyle and I celebrate our 63rd wedding anniversary.
Congratulations. That's wonderful. Did you hear that, Bill? 63 years. We're not going to make that one, honey. So sorry. We can try. Yeah. Do we have anything on the Zoom? Okay. All righty. For these and all the joys and sorrows we carry in our hearts and cannot express, we offer this prayer. May we be reminded that all things come and go, that today's joys and today's sorrows will in time give way to those of tomorrow, and that those of us who have strength to share today ought to do so while we can, and that those who are in need ought allow ourselves to receive, for tomorrow those roles might well be reversed. Spirit of life, Mother and Father of us all, help us to remember those who are not here with us today, those who need what we have found here, and those who have what we here need. May we always be open to growth and change, to movement, to grace, in the name of all that is holy, and in all the holy names that have ever been uttered, and those that have not even yet been imagined. Let us say, blessed be, shalom, and amen.
Like Haney loves to say, good morning, church.
Good morning, Charlie.
I'm Charlie Sholz, and it's interesting to note that the holiday weekend is called Labor Day instead of Workers' Day. Very old term, labor. It was already in current use 500 years ago when the King James Bible was being written. And of course, the movement toward union organization and representation in the 19th century was called the labor movement. Those are the folks who gave us this holiday, by the way. This labor movement began here in the US because factory workers, or mill workers, as they were often called in the 19th century, were being treated very badly. Working conditions, particularly in industries like cloth making and iron and steel production, were absolutely horrible. And whenever machinery was involved, production was considered to be more important than safety. As a result, the number of workers maimed or killed in industrial accidents was enormous. And on top of that, in many areas of the country, child labor was the norm. But the labor movement didn't simply change those conditions overnight. It took years of fighting and negotiating to get where we are today, with things like the 40-hour work week, paid vacations, health plans, time and a half for overtime, and a federal minimum wage. In union, there is strength. I come from a long line of working class people. My father's folks were into food preparation and ran delis. My mother's folks were farmers and carpenters, and mine was a working class family. My dad spent most of his adult life in factories forming sheet metal into toolboxes, air ducts, and supermarket shelving. My mom worked in retail, selling household gadgets, and then curtains and draperies at Sears, and finally taking a job as a clerk at an insurance company. My sister worked for the Illinois Bell Telephone Company right out of high school before going to college and becoming a missionary in Ethiopia. And although I've spent much of my professional life as a professor at 3 different universities, I've also worked on an assembly line, operated welders and metal shears, driven a delivery truck, repaired cars, poured concrete sidewalks, laid block and brick, built fences, shingled roofs, and painted houses for a living. In union, there is strength. I don't know if this all qualifies me to talk about labor on this Labor Day weekend, but I'm going to do it anyway because I have some real connections with the movement. The last factory my dad worked at was organized by the United Auto Workers in the early 1960s. And although he wasn't interested or an active member of that local, when he retired, he got a UAW pension for the rest of his life, a real benefit. At the University of Northern Iowa, the first university I taught at, I was an active member of the American Federation of Teachers. We attempted to organize the faculty at that school. The local even sent me to the University of Michigan Law School for a workshop on how to organize. We did manage to get an election called, but an NEA-sponsored group won the right to negotiate for us. In union, there is strength. And in my political consulting days back in the 1980s, I did promotional work for the UAW, as well as generate support for candidates who would fight for union rights. One of the high points of that career was a commercial I wrote and produced for the auto workers about the content law, which was a piece of proposed federal legislation that would have required the majority of parts in US cars to be manufactured in this country. Although the bill never passed, that proposed legislation put pressure on foreign car manufacturers to build assembly plants here in Michigan, Tennessee, Ohio, and Georgia. I was very proud of my contribution to that. If there is one message that we can take away from the union movement, it is the basic one, the one that rallied hundreds of thousands of workers, and the one that Mary Church Terrell, an early fighter for civil rights, used in her first presidential address to the National Association of Colored Women in 1897. In union, there is strength. So what is it about the labor movement that's relevant to us here at the UUCLC? Let me give you an example. When our minister decided to void his contract and left last December, there were some individuals, some who are no longer with us, who predicted that this church would be out of business by the end of this year, that we didn't have the intestinal fortitude or the organizational skills to see this crisis through, that we would flounder and fail. But that's not happened. We are worshiping and conducting our programs in cleaner, brighter, more functional, and more secure physical facilities than have ever existed in the history of this congregation. Our Sunday services, mostly lay-led, have been, dare I say, inspiring. The UU choir is back with more voices than before, and our music director is full of exciting ideas for new musical directions. Our religious education program is growing. Our revived committees are proposing new programs in worship. And the feedback sessions we've held on visioning have given us new directions. And financial transparency of our operations is the new normal. And this is because we understood that in union there is strength. We have figuratively joined hands, linked arms, and worked together to keep the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces going and growing. I constantly hear comments from our members about how people are coming back to our church, bringing with them new ideas and willingly contributing their time, talent, and treasure to help us go forward. In union, there is strength. Now, if you're new to Unitarian Universalism, or perhaps you're a visitor who's looking for a spiritual home in a loving congregation, and you've come to our church, what does this slogan mean for you? I think it means that if you join us, if you're willing to explore your path with us, if you want to find a way to worship with us, you too will soon recognize that in union there is strength. And you will want to contribute your time, talent, and treasure to the continuing success of the UUCLC. Because when everyone works together, our church becomes the engine we can use to transform the world. The labor movement has given us much more than a day off of work. It has embodied an inspirational idea that shows us that by working together, we can accomplish great things. In union, there is strength. May it be so.
Charlie is a tough act to follow. Oh. Thank you, sir. In union, there is strength. And to use another analogy, this flame cannot burn without fuel. Our religious community cannot survive or thrive without the financial as well as personal support of its members and friends. The oil that keeps the flame of our liberal religious faith alive and fuels the shared mission and ministry of this fellowship. Let us now give freely and generously an offering to sustain and strengthen our shared religious community, a community of memory, hope, faith, and love. For we are now keepers of its flame that burns for justice, its dream of beloved community, its vision of a world made whole. For those on Zoom, refer to the electronic order of service or to the member section of the church website to see how you can continue making your pledges online, if that is your preference. The church is continuing at this time its support of organizations identified by the Social Justice Committee as recipients of our Change for Change program. We collect your change or checks that have Change for Change noted in the memo line, as well as online donations for this purpose. So please be generous. The recipient of this quarter's Change for Change donations is Safe Haven Animal Sanctuary, which has been saving the lives of homeless dogs and cats in our community for over 25 years. Its mission is to seek permanent, responsible homes for abandoned companion animals while caring for them in a no-kill environment. The greeters will come amongst you with your baskets. Please be generous.
Come listen, you fellas, so young and so fine. Seek not your fortune in the dark, dreary mines. It'll form as a habit and seep in your soul till a stream of your blood is as black as the coal. It's dark as the dungeon and damp as the dew, where danger's double and pleasures are few, where rain never falls and the sun never shines. It's dark as a dungeon way down in the mines. It's many a man I've seen in my day who lived just to labor his whole life away, like a fiend with his dope and a drunkard his wine. Man will have lust for the lure of the mine. It's dark as a dungeon and damp as the dew, where danger's double and pleasures are few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines. It's dark as the dungeon way down in the mines. If you know this song, please sing along now, especially the chorus. I hope when I'm gone and the ages shall roll, my body will blacken and turn into coal. Then I'll look from the door of my heavenly home, pity the miner digging my bones. It's dark as the dungeon and damp as the dew, where danger is double and the pleasures are few, where rain never falls and the sun never shines. It's dark as a dungeon way down in the mines. Midnight, the morning, or the middle of day is the same to the miner who labors away, where demons of death often come by surprise. One fall of a slave and you're buried alive. It's dark as the dungeon and damp as the dew, where danger's double and the pleasures are few, where rain never falls and the sun never shines. It's dark as a dungeon way down in the mine. It's dark as the dungeon way down in the mine.
How about I give you a little break from singing and do the closing words before we do the closing hymn? That be okay? Yeah. All right. Closing words this morning. Continuing the good work of this church will take the efforts of all of us. But as Rumi, the 13th century Persian poet, once said, "Let the beauty of what you love be what you do." Let's join Mark and Kathy in singing our closing hymn, "When Israel Was in Egypt's Land," number 104.
stand up.
Please rise and join us in singing this. When Israel was in Egypt's land,
Let my people go.
oppressed so hard they could not stand,
Let my people go.
go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. The Lord told Moses what to do.
Let my people go.
To Israel, the tribe of Israel through.
Let my people go.
Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. For you the cloud shall clear the way.
Let my people go.
A fire by night, a shade by day.
Let my people go.
Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. We need not always weep and moan.
Let my people go.
And wear these slavery chains forlorn.
Let my people go.
Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go.
In these words, as we extinguish the flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We'd like to sing this, just the first verse of this postlude, first verse in English and Spanish, to honor Cesar Chavez. This song was written by a Mexican immigrant. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, que tu voz el eco del clamor de los pueblos en opresión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, anunciándote a los pobres una nueva sociedad. Profeta tú consagró, no hay duda y temor en tu andar por la historia. Sé fiel a tu misión. Prophecy, oh my people, prophecy one more time. Let your voice be the echo of the oppressed of all oppressed. Prophecy, oh my people. I sanctify you, prophet. Banish all doubt and fear. Be faithful to your mission, the quest that leads us on. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, que tu voz el eco del clamor de los pueblos en opresión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza